Hi YouTube, it's Jen. It's been a while since I've been on here. I'm back from Central America. I was in Costa Rica and Nicaragua and it was absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend to anyone that hasn't traveled there or wants to travel there. Feel free to ping me on Discord or on YouTube for any recommendations. I had a really great time. I used it to be just present. I promised myself I wouldn't do any planning. I did plan the trip, I just didn't do any planning around. I didn't apply to any jobs. I didn't respond to any recruiters. I didn't do much planning for when I would get back home either. I like to have a to-do list every day. I just didn't make a list of any of that stuff, and it was a really lovely trip. I had an amazing time, and I was reminded about why I love to travel so much. I think because I've been in the Bay Area my whole life. This is all I know, and it's really nice to travel outside of the US, outside of San Francisco, and see how other people live. There are people that are perfectly happy and fine to be living a very simple life. I was just reminded about how much I love seeing different cultures and perspectives and seeing a different way of living other than mine, because I don't know anything else, truthfully. When we were in Costa Rica, we were staying with a family-owned hotel in Monteverde, and the daughter had been working previously at the front desk of a big hotel. The mother had previously been a cook of another hotel, and I believe the father also worked on the property grounds, either fixing things or cleaning, and they both decided to put their money together and rent this old hotel property. They fixed it up, they tested out a proof of concept that they could run a whole hotel on their own, and they could, and then they ended up buying it as well. And it's just a beautiful property, and it's such a beautiful family, and there's so much wildlife around it. They just have such an amazing, simple, and fulfilling life. They have people from all over the world that come visit them and stay with them and enjoy the property and enjoy their country. And it was just really nice to see, and it's nice to know that for me that can be an option too. I would love to have my own property that I could look after, since I love decorating and designing, and it would be great to meet people from all over the world to share my space with. It was a nice reset to think about all of the different possibilities beyond what I'm used to seeing here. And so yeah, I think that was really nice. I came back feeling refreshed, but I also got really sick when I got back home. And then I also found myself in another interview cycle. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this because after my last video, I have decided that's not the focus of this channel, although it is important to give you guys transparent updates about that. But after my last video, I said I wasn't going to stress myself out about interviews anymore, which I'm not, but I am interviewing with 5 companies again. I don't know why it's always that number, and I don't know why it always comes in waves. It's very infuriating. It'd be great if it was just one at a time every now and then. But yeah, for the last couple weeks, I've had an interview almost every day. So that has been incredibly busy, but not as stressful. And I think that's because I have a lot less riding on it this time, meaning that I'm okay with either outcome. My previous interview cycle was just such an uncomfortable experience for me to be interviewing at all, and it took a lot of work, and I was really stressed out, and I really just wanted a job at the end of it because it was just so stressful to go through. But at this point, I could go either way. I could be happy with a job. Maybe I think the companies that I'm interviewing at I generally like, definitely. But I know that's not the end of the road. I think that's just me trying to fill the part of me that really wants security. But yeah, honestly, it could go either way. I think I would be okay with getting another role and then using extra time to, again, do what I'm supposed to be doing right now, which is figuring out what I want to do, doing my self-work and resting. Or I could not get a job and then live somewhere else for the first time ever. In my last video, I said I was looking at South America, Argentina, Chile to potentially live at, but it's going to be winter there soon. So I don't know how much fun that would be. So I'm looking at Italy. My best friend is currently in Italy. She's doing her master's program for interior design. So I am potentially looking at that, and I haven't been to the Dolomites before or Switzerland, so TBD there. But the point being is that I don't have any definitive plans yet. I could get a job. I could not get a job. But if I'm being honest, deep down inside, I would very much be okay with not getting a job during this time, because this is my first chance in 10 years to live somewhere else. And I'd love to give myself the chance to do that. I'd love to live in Italy for the summer and kind of just reset. I think I really need a proper reset, a proper change of scenery, a proper change of routine, a paradigm shift. I have lived in the Bay Area my whole life. I've been around the same surroundings and energy. And while I have gotten to travel a lot, it's been really amazing. I've just never been in a position to completely change things. And I think this is my chance to do that. I was telling my fiance the other day that, we have very structured, regimented lifestyles, which I personally love and thrive in. And I think that's why I've lived in the same place my whole life, because I like having routine. I like predictability, obviously. So you can imagine how groundbreaking it was for me to be in this place of uncertainty. But I was telling him, I don't think the trajectory of my life is going to change if I keep doing the same things. My partner also works in tech. He consults, and he also is working on his own individual products. So he's home pretty much 9 to 5 working on the computer. And I'm pretty much home 9 to 5 as well, outside of the times that I go to the gym, either applying to jobs, doing this YouTube stuff, thinking about doing creative things, or reading. And, we feel relatively busy, I'd say, because we're still doing admin type tasks for ourselves. We still both dedicate time to the gym. We have family time at the beach with our dog, which takes at least 90 minutes every single day. We walk him during sunset together. And we're actually not super social. We don't have very active social lives. I personally like it that way. I don't have a lot of energy. We like to see friends or family probably once a week at most. And yeah, I was just telling him that I don't think the trajectory of my life is going to change if we keep doing the same thing. If I keep living this way, it's just going to set me up to get another tech job, which is kind of what it's feeling like, right? Because, I had that break in Central America. Now I'm back, and I am in another interview cycle. I don't know what the outcome will be, but I'm getting better at letting go of what it might be. And I'm still going to plan to try and go to Italy for the summer starting in May. So that'll be interesting, booking refundable flights. I would really love to try living somewhere else and just experiencing a different culture, getting to immerse myself in it, getting to put myself in new situations. I think one could argue I could probably do that here, which I will also try to do, but I would like to live somewhere else first. I have titled this video The Work because I don't know why, but it just occurred to me what it meant to do the work a few weeks ago. I've had therapists in the past tell me you have to do the work, you have to sit in the discomfort. I just never knew what the work meant. But now that I think about it, doing the work means doing the work to be okay every single day, no matter what. You don't just read a book, you don't just read a few books and then your outlook on life changes. It's active work that you have to do every day. When the interview cycle ended last and I was gearing up to go to my trip, my therapist had asked me how I was feeling. I told him some days I feel inspired and some days I don't, and sometimes I feel content and happy and at peace, and other days I feel worried and panicked that I'm not doing enough, or I haven't accomplished much during this time and I still don't know what I really want to do or love to do or would want to pursue for work. And he asked me why that was. And I told him that I think that I'd been feeling low because I hadn't been journaling. I hadn't been doing my gratitude exercises in the morning. I would skip days. And my therapist was not in a condescending way, but he was you probably shouldn't skip that. I really value exercising. So I like to go to the gym and I don't like to miss any of my classes. And he was kind of you should treat it the same way. In the same way that you don't like to skip your workouts because it's beneficial for you physically and mentally, you shouldn't want to miss out on your journaling as well. I think it was easy for me to overlook because, it takes 10 minutes max most of the day. It's how impactful could it be in my day to day? Turns out it can be very impactful. Starting your day with gratitude seems such a small lift, but it really does make a difference. When you're able to sit down in the morning and write out all your thoughts for the day and then be compassionate with yourself and then outline the things you're grateful for, I think it really helps the worrying part of your mind just kind of dissipate and you can start the day on a good foot. And that's what doing the work means to me. And it's much like I alluded to earlier. You don't just read a book and your outlooks change and you feel better. And it's exactly like working out. You can't work out once and go to the gym once and you're fit for the rest of your life, right? You have to work out every single day. And It's the same thing with doing the work. There's deeper work that I want to do. It's called IFS, Internal Family Systems Therapy. I'm planning to do it by myself. I don't know why I have been procrastinating with this. I'm very curious where my priorities are right now, because part of me wants to rest, part of me wants to like discover more of myself and understand myself better and be compassionate, and then part of me wants to be responsible and, try and get another job, one that I like, and do that while I do the work. So I know when I started this channel, I had like a bunch of different workbooks that I wanted to work on, and books I read. I read a lot of the books, but I haven't done the actual work. So like the actual like self-love workbook exercises, I haven't even cracked open. The Untethered Soul workbook, I haven't cracked open. The Artist's Way is also like a workbook where you have to journal and use these prompts every single week. I haven't made time to do any of those things, and I know I have the time, but I just haven't made them a priority. And I think I understand why. Compassionate Jenn understands why. It's hard to do the work. I mean, it's hard to set that 10 minutes aside in the morning to practice my gratitude and journal, but then like sit down and get to know your inner child or identify the parts of yourself or your exiles. I'll make a video about it later once I'm able to like tackle it in a way that will be helpful for me and hopeful for you guys. If you're interested in watching that journey at all, like me sharing this is for me to heal, but also if you guys are interested in following along so you guys can kind of see the types of reflections that I'm having and maybe relate to it and evolve as well. But yes, I'm planning to do more structured work soon. And when I look back and I think about how I feel now compared to, 6 months ago, I notice that I'm feeling a lot better. And honestly, I can't tell if I'm just used to it now, if I'm used to the uncertainty, or if I noticed that my day-to-day life hasn't really changed since transitioning. I'd like to think it was doing the work that got me to this point. I can definitely say I feel scared and nervous sometimes, which is why I'm still continuing to interview, but I definitely don't feel as heavy and like as if there's like a cloud looming over my head. I think I'm starting to feel more trusting of the universe and trusting of timing, trusting that I'm supposed to be going through this season of life right now, and I know that I'll be okay. Like, I'm so grateful to have my partner and my dog, to have my health, to have my family, that my family's healthy, that we have this roof over our head, that we live in this beautiful city, that I still get to travel, that I still have wonderful friends, and like how much could I really ask for other than that? So that's the work, and that's what I have to be committed to every single day, and I will continue to be committed to it no matter how great I'm feeling or no matter how bad I'm feeling. I feel like I'm a lot more trusting and accepting of things that are happening, and I just trust that whichever way things go, if I end up getting a job at the end of this cycle or if I get to move to Italy for the summer, I'm just hoping and trusting that it's going to be the right thing. So that said, at the end of this month, it will be 6 months of this sabbatical. And when I've told my friends, they've asked me like, how do you feel about it? And my first response was not great. It doesn't feel like I've accomplished much. I still don't know what I want to do for a living. I still don't know what I honestly like to do enough to pursue as a job. I have a ton of hobbies, but I can't envision myself doing them for a living. So I don't feel any closer to having clarity on that. But when the compassionate part of me starts to step in, when higher self Jenn comes into the conversation, she says, well, you traveled to 4 new countries in that time, and you met your goal of traveling to 50 countries overall, and you started this YouTube channel, which you never thought you would do, and you started your travel and photography website, though you still have to add to it. And those are, I guess, pretty big things to accomplish in that time. Most importantly, I think what compassionate Jenn wants to say is, like, this time was intended more than anything to be a break. And I do feel like I've given myself some time to rest. One of the things I hate feeling is tired. I absolutely hate feeling tired. I hate feeling tired, and I hate feeling rushed. So I absolutely do what I can to, sleep on time when I know I have to get up early in the morning, or I'll allow myself to sleep in if I had a late night. I go to all of my appointments like 20 minutes early. It feels so stressful to be late for an appointment or rushing somewhere. So those are things I'm doing for myself now. Outside of the interviewing, which I hate, I'm very much trying to operate in a way like, what does my perfect day look like? A perfect day to me looks like a day where I am well rested, I don't feel rushed, that I feel connected to my partner and my dog, and that I am getting exercise and I get to be out in nature. Like, that is the bare minimum of a perfect day that I can ask for. It's not like that all the time. I am stressed a lot, but I always strive for at least that. But I just wanted to come on and say something, hi, since it's been a while, and kind of share my recent epiphany about what the work is, that it's lifetime work. It's something you have to do every single day to be okay. It could look different for everyone, but doing that puts you more at ease because you are more trusting of what's happening and trusting of timing, and just more relaxed because, you think down back to your basics. Like, I'm so grateful that I have all of the things that I mentioned earlier, and I really am okay even though I don't have a job, or even though I don't know what I want to do for a living yet, or whatever else anyone or myself might be going through. At the end of the day, doing the work is doing the work to know that you're okay. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I feel so much better, and I, at this moment, don't feel excited, but I feel okay. Like, I'm totally okay with whatever direction life takes me at this moment. I think, a lot to Michael Singer's talks, like, a lot of the reason why we're not okay is because things aren't the way we want them to be.
Can you really suffer just by not getting what you want? I know you can suffer if something's wrong physically. Can you suffer by not getting what you want? Have you ever suffered because you didn't get what you want? I don't have to be psychic. I can say it to anybody at any time, and it's true. You have suffered by not getting what you want. That's just silly. You made up what you wanted, and then you suffered because it didn't happen. Can you laugh at that, please? Have you ever suffered because you got what you didn't want? Have you ever suffered because something happened that you really didn't want to happen? You had made up that anything but this, I'll be okay. This I cannot handle. I don't want this to happen. And then what happens when it happens? You suffer. So you have to decide, is it the event not happening or happening that caused you to suffer? Or is it you deciding how it needs to be that caused you to suffer? You ever hear the expression, it takes two to tango? It takes two to tango in the suffering world. It's either a suffering event or it's not. There's no such thing. I want to go on a picnic. I got a date, and I'm going to go camping, and I've waited so long for this. It better not rain. I'm a farmer. There's a drought. This is the last day they can possibly, and we live in the same place. All right? So what you catch on is you got a big decision to make. And this is the big decision of your life. More important than your career, more important than who you marry, more important than your anything. Am I going to devote my life to trying to make the outside world be the way I made up and suffer when it's not and get a little bit happy when it is? Therefore, I'm conditional. Or am I going to devote my life to learning not to make up how I need things to be okay? So that I can wake up in the morning and say, this is going to be fun. What, life? I don't have a way. I don't have a way I want things to be. You don't? No. I don't. Wouldn't that be fun to have to say that? I don't have a way I want things to be. I'm just glad there are things. I'm glad I'm on a planet where things are happening. Every single millisecond. There's colors and shapes. It's like a museum. There's things going on that's happening your whole life. Why not be happy with that? Why not enjoy the experiences of life that are unfolding in front of you, that are presenting themselves to you without any preference or conditioning? Just unconditionally say, I have come down here to visit the planet Earth. It has been here for 5 billion years in a universe that has been here for 13.8 billion years. I'm going to be here for 20 or 50 or 100. What's the difference? And I'm just visiting this place that got made. I'm glad to see it. I'm happy. It's enjoyable. It's challenging. There are things that happen that are easy for me. There are things that happen that are really hard for me. It's like a sport. There are teams I play that I'm much better than. I just beat them to pieces. It's so easy. And there are teams I play that are better than me. It's really hard, and it brings the best out of me, and I have to struggle and pull things. What's wrong with that? So life is exactly the same. It's a sport. In the scriptures, it calls it God's lila. And lila is translated out of Sanskrit into sport. What a funny word to be translated into sport. It's an interactive sport that here the universe is unfolding in front of you, and you're here. Everything keeps changing. It's changed your whole life. And don't worry in the long run, because you won't be here very long anyways. Now, I don't understand why they're suffering. There is suffering for no reason. That's why Buddha said the highest state is compassion. But people don't understand what compassion is. Compassion is what we just touched. If you look out through your eyes and you see people suffering, that's bad enough. I mean, that's painful. But to understand they are doing it to themselves, and there is no reason for it. They don't have to suffer, not that way. Yes, there's physical things, but this psychological suffering that is going on inside is self-inflicted. Therefore, it doesn't need to happen. And the root of it is this idea that I'm supposed to make up how I need things to be and how I don't want them to be, and then I'm supposed to get upset when they're not that way. Well, you're going to be upset all the time. And so you come down to understanding this as your choice in life. Do I want to continue doing this and then go outside and struggle with everybody and everything to try to make them match what I made up? Or do I want to learn to stop this stupid game of making up how I want things to be? Doesn't mean you stop your career. Doesn't mean you stop being married. Doesn't mean you stop having children. Doesn't mean you stop doing your best or whatever you're doing. That has nothing to do with that. I didn't say anything about that. I said you stop making up how things need to be and then fighting with everything and everybody to try and make them be that way. You still go to school, you still study, you still have you still get married, all kinds of things still happen. Your mind says, but why would they happen if I don't want them to? The sun comes up without you wanting it to. The moon goes through all of its phases. The oceans do what they do. You have 14 trillion cells in your body that do all kinds of things without you wanting them to or not wanting them to. The whole universe, look at all the stars and the galaxies. Are you wanting them to be what they are and do what they're doing? And the answer is, you're not doing any of it. So the fact that you stopped making up how you want it to be and how you don't want it to be is not going to affect anything except how much you suffer. The fact that you stopped making up how you want it to be and how you don't want it to be, and then fighting with the way it is not going to change anything except you will stop suffering. You will enjoy the unfolding of life. You're still doing the same thing. You're just doing it for a different reason. When it's said and done, I want to tell you the truth. Life is going to win anyways. If you don't want it to rain tomorrow, that has nothing to do with whether it's going to rain. It's like you're just causing yourself to suffer over the unfolding of reality. We're not saying that you don't have any influence. We'll talk about that. But come on, it's pretty small. When it's all said and done, reality is going to unfold in front of you. It has been going on for 13.8 billion years. And it's going on everywhere where you're not. Does that have that effect on you? Isn't it going on everywhere where you're not right now? Okay, man, you're not in charge. And so you just catch on that things are going to unfold and you have a choice. Am I going to suffer because they're unfolding, or am I going to enjoy the journey? It's as simple as that.
But yeah, in the last 6 months, I honestly do feel like I've grown in that I feel more relaxed and accepting of life and whatever's coming. I feel more compassionate with myself about how I'm reacting to things and, decisions I have or haven't made. And I am excited to do more work and to do the work with you guys. And I thank you guys so much for watching. There's almost 500 of you, which is incredible. I did not think I would have this many subscribers when I started this channel. In fact, I didn't have any expectations whatsoever. And maybe that's the way I'm supposed to be approaching life. I definitely could not have imagined a following like this so soon in my YouTube journey. So thank you guys so much. I hope that the content or reflections that I have been sharing have been helpful for you. Please reach out if you want to join my Discord channel or on YouTube, or if there's any content you want to see. I'm really excited to continue doing the work with you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.